Welcome back to True Tomorrows, the show where we explore the edge of technology and the future. I'm Adrian Smith, your host, and I'm here to guide you through the wildest possibilities and the potential pitfalls of tomorrow's tech.
And I'm Julia Jones. I'll be breaking down the science and the mind-blowing what-ifs that come with these innovations.
So, Julia, today we're diving into a story that really makes you think about time travel.
Time travel.
Yeah.
It's a classic, isn't it? This idea of rewinding, hitting the reset button. Who hasn't wished they could undo a past mistake?
Exactly. And the story we're looking at today, The Glitch Echo, takes this idea and runs with it. We meet a group of, you guessed it, teenagers.
Of course, teenagers.
Calling themselves the Rewind Crew.
Yeah.
They figure out how to time travel.
It's like that classic trope. Anyone, even ordinary teens, could unlock something as big as time travel. It's that desire we all have, right? To control our own destiny.
Absolutely. And at first, they use their power for, well, typical teenage stuff. Acing a test, taking back an embarrassing comment.
Yeah. You almost root for them, right? It's like a wish fulfillment fantasy.
Yeah, until things take a darker turn.
Things always take a darker turn.
Their little time hops escalate.
Right.
Fixing tests becomes stopping bullies. And then, get this, they start manipulating the lottery.
It's that slippery slope, right? Power, even with good intentions, it can become addictive.
And the story really highlights that psychological pull. But there's one character, Omar, who sees the potential consequences. He's wary.
Like that voice of reason, the one who reminds us maybe we shouldn't be messing with things we don't understand. And it makes you wonder, are we doing that in the real world with technology?
That's a great point. And speaking of messing with things, the Rewind Crew decides to target a powerful corporation.
Uh-oh.
They believe this company is up to no good. They want to steal information, expose the truth. Noble intentions, right?
But who gets to decide what's right and wrong? Are they playing judge and jury? It makes you think about the ethics of it all.
And to make matters more complicated, the corporation they've targeted, it turns out, is developing its own time travel tech. Way more advanced than what the teens have.
So it's not just some evil corporation, it's more complex than that. They understand the power of what they're dealing with.
And the moment of truth comes when they get caught. But not by security guards. They get caught by a tech who works for the corporation.
That's an interesting twist.
And she's not even angry. She's more like impressed, intrigued.
It subverts expectations, right? Instead of a chase scene, there's this eerie moment of understanding. They've stumbled onto something much bigger than themselves.
And their punishment, well, let's just say it's not jail time. The corporation resets reality.
Oh, wow.
The teens wake up, no memory of their time traveling, back to being ordinary teenagers.
Yeah.
But something feels off.
It's chilling. Is it better to be punished or to have your actions, your memories just erased? What does that say about free will? Identity, the very nature of reality.
Deep stuff. And for our main character, it's even worse. He sees his friends, now strangers, making different choices. He's lost a whole timeline.
It makes you think about the boundaries of control with technology. Are we heading towards a future where memories can be manipulated?
It's a question worth considering, and we'll be exploring it more in part 2. But for now, think about this. If you could rewind time, would you, knowing the risks? And how does this story connect to the technology we're seeing develop today?
You know, it's interesting that we ended on that question about erasing memories because in The Glitch Echo, that's exactly what the corporation does.
It's like they've weaponized time travel, haven't they? Not just to punish, but to control.
Yeah, it's a chilling thought. To
Yeah.
have your experiences, your memories just wiped away. It taps into those anxieties we have about data privacy and surveillance and the power of big tech.
Oh, absolutely. It's like we're already seeing it in a way. Algorithms shape our online experiences. They filter the information we see, even predict our behavior.
Yeah.
So what happens when that power extends to our memories?
Right. And the story really makes you think about the line between manipulation and progress.
Well, and you know what's interesting is that the corporation in The Glitch Echo isn't portrayed as purely evil.
That's true.
They're developing time travel tech too, but they seem to be approaching it with a bit more caution, more awareness of the risks.
Right. It's not a simple good versus evil narrative. It's more nuanced than that. You have the Rewind Crew driven by youthful idealism, and then you have the corporation. They're more pragmatic, maybe even a little dystopian, but they're also trying to control this incredibly powerful technology.
It's like they represent two sides of the same coin, right?
Right.
The potential of technology for good and the potential for harm.
Exactly. And the story asks us to consider, where do we draw the line? How do we ensure that technology serves us and doesn't enslave us?
Big questions, especially in a world where technology is advancing so rapidly.
It's like the tools for manipulating reality, for shaping narratives, they're becoming more sophisticated, more accessible. And that's why stories like The Glitch Echo are important. They're warnings. They remind us to be vigilant, to engage in these conversations about the ethics of technology before it's too late.
So you mentioned safeguarding our freedoms. What does that look like in practice? Is it even possible with technology moving at such a breakneck pace?
It's a tough question, but I think awareness is key. We need to be more conscious of how technology is shaping our lives, our thoughts, even our memories. We need to think critically, question the information we consume, the sources we trust, even the narratives we're presented with.
So not rejecting technology outright, but approaching it with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Exactly. It's about being informed, engaged, empowered. We need to shape the development and use of technology in a way that aligns with our values, with our vision for the future.
Informed, engaged, empowered. I like that. Those are good principles to keep in mind.
And remember, The Glitch Echo is just one story, one possible future. But the questions it raises, they're relevant to all of us. As we continue this discussion, let's keep those questions at the forefront. How do we as individuals, as a society, grapple with the ethical dilemmas of technological advancement? How do we create a future that benefits everyone?
Those are heavy questions, but they're worth thinking about. And as we continue our exploration of The Glitch Echo, we'll look at some potential answers, or at least some avenues for further exploration. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll dive into the implications of this story for our own lives and the choices we make in this ever-evolving technological landscape. It's a tricky balance, isn't it? Embracing the potential of technology, but also being wary of its downsides.
Oh, absolutely. It's like walking a tightrope. And The Glitch Echo really highlights that tension.
We've talked about the dangers of time travel, the potential for misuse and control. But is there room for optimism? Can we imagine a future where time travel is used responsibly for good?
I think that's the question we all need to be asking ourselves. And the story offers a glimmer of hope, doesn't it? I mean, the corporation, while definitely flawed, seems to understand the risks.
But not just throwing caution to the wind.
Exactly. They're trying to control this incredibly powerful technology, to use it carefully. And it makes you wonder, what if that's the key? What if controlled and responsible time travel is possible?
It's a fascinating thought. Because on the other hand, we have the Rewind crew. They represent that youthful idealism, that desire for immediate change.
Yeah.
But they're also reckless. They don't fully grasp the consequences of their actions.
So maybe the answer lies somewhere in the middle, between the recklessness of the Rewind crew and the calculated control of the corporation.
It's like finding that middle ground between progress and responsibility.
Right, and that's where the real challenge lies. How do we ensure that technology, even something as powerful as time travel, serves humanity? How do we prevent it from being used for harmful purposes?
It's a conversation we need to be having now before it's too late. And it's not just a conversation for scientists and engineers.
Everyone needs to be involved. Ethicists, policymakers, philosophers, everyday citizens, we all have a stake in shaping the future.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners today? What can they do to make sure the future of technology is a positive one?
Be informed, be engaged, be critical. Don't be afraid to ask the tough questions. Challenge the status quo. Demand transparency from those who are developing these technologies.
And remember, the future isn't set in stone. It's shaped by the choices we make today.
Every decision, every action, every innovation ripples through time. So let's make sure those ripples create a better world for everyone.
Well said, Julia. And on that note, we come to the end of another episode of True Tomorrows. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of the future, and we hope you'll join us again tomorrow for another captivating story from the edge of technology. And remember, the future is out there waiting to be shaped. Let's make it a good one.